From the top, what's up? I'm Jerry. This is my 97 Civic CX hatchback. I've had the car for about 5 or 6 years now. I've been building Hondas since I was probably 16, 17 years old. It's got a B16, JDM B16 SIR in it, a whopping 155 wheel horsepower, which is actually pretty good for a car that weighs about 2,000 pounds with me in it. Yeah, it's tuned with Honda S300, has header, back exhaust, skunk 2 intake manifold, has a couple parts on it that can't get anymore. Password JDM, shout out for supporting all of our cars in the late 2000s, early 2000s. Wish you were still around. The brake system, it has pretty much everything from a 99 2000 Civic Si as far as the rotor size, calipers, has good Hawk track spec brake pads. I think with the power and stopping ability of the car and how much it weighs, it's sufficient for being well balanced as it is. Interior wise, got Sparco seats, Takata harnesses, keep me nice and tight and safe inside. What else? What am I thinking of? Oh, suspension. It really is due for an upgrade. I've had blocks, track spec coilovers. They actually hold up very well. If you're just using that coilover for taking only to the track, they're great. Had them on for a few years now. I think they're just kind of worn out. Everything else underneath is all the bushings are spoon stuff. I try to put as much spoon on the car. If I'm going to put a sticker on it, you got to represent, right? Tires, I've been a huge fan of Falcon Azenas since pretty much every Honda that I've ever built. But I do have 225s up front, and that is a game changer for these cars. As far as front grip goes, you can turn into corners much harder when you've got that much tire on it. 205s in the rear, Inky RPF 1s, nice and light. It's a great setup. Far as aero goes, DevSport makes a lot of good stuff for this car. I have the front canards, rear diffuser. The spoiler on it right now is just a Civic Type R replica. Two different things that happened, I guess, yesterday on track. It was, well, any day on track, I guess, is a good day. But it was kind of disappointing. It was really my first one out this year. I've been super busy, so I haven't had enough time to get out there. The sessions were short. I don't think tires got warm enough, so I just probably pushed it a little too hard 2 different times. The first time, I got a little sideways. Wheel was cranked and bumped my front driver fender up just enough to crinkle it up. Nothing a hammer couldn't fix yesterday. The other thing that happened, shook a alternator bolt loose. Thanks, Jake, for finding one in your toolbox that randomly fit. I'm just super happy. I've always wanted a white EK hatch. It's my personal dream car, and as far as mods go to it, I'm just happy with where it sits. I've never been a horsepower guy like Kevin, because you know somebody's always faster. So you get used to being slow in a Honda, except when you're on track chasing down V8 Mustangs.
There's my 2 babies though. Yeah. What do I do with my hands?
Favorite shots of when we went to the car?
So this car here,
Yeah.
it's a 1996 Honda Integra Type R. It's got a B18C that was stock in the Type Rs at the time. It was originally built for Taikyu Racing, which is the endurance racing series over in Japan. It's a 96 spec, but was converted to 98 spec by Spoon Sports. They raced it, campaigned it for a few years. and then was bought by a gentleman who continued to race it up until about 2018. As far as modifications go, it's got Mugen N1 suspension, rear sway bar has been completely removed, chassis stiffening with a roll cage, everything's been chassis stitched.
What about the dash and stuff that's in there?
Well, so it's got a stack cluster, original one from the 90s, which is impossible to find. I've been finding out, and I don't know how to use it yet. So when we were at the track day yesterday, it would have been real nice to figure out the lap timer, but I have not figured that out yet. Wheels and tires, SSR Type Cs. It's got Yokohama AO52s, 195, 55, 15s. I actually found this car on accident. I was at work and I was showing a buddy how Yahoo Auctions Japan worked. And I, of course, was just kind of looking at Integras like I always do. And this listing came up for this race car right here. And I started poking around it, and some things kind of stood out to me. I've seen a lot of cars for sale in Japan, and I've seen a lot of race cars. And this had some pretty serious stuff that wasn't very common. And so it kind of made me think that it was a bit special. Kind of stood out to me a little bit. I kind of translated the listing, and it turns out that this car's had quite a history of racing. And I reached out to my buddies in Japan to see if it was possible, to pick this up. It didn't have any documentation with it. The car was listed as non-moving, so I just kind of bought it and then figured out everything else later. And the process took a while, but knowing the right people, we got it all taken care of, and it was able to come over in a container last year. The guy that I bought it from, the owner of the shop, TSK, he basically got it running again, got it moving again. So we paid for a special transport truck to come pick up an in-op vehicle, but when they got there, the guy already worked on it and got it fixed again. Yeah, the guys at my exporters, they drove it down the street, got some pictures of it, took it to the Family Mart, got some snacks and whatnot, and shipped it on over. So I bought this, I think I found it in the summer of 23. And then, like I said, it took several months for everything to kind of get figured out, and it got shipped over and landed in January of 24. It came in a container with a whole bunch of parts and another car. Had it for a little while, and ever since then, it's been kind of like a slow mechanical restoration. When I first drove it, I noticed that it had some issues with the drivetrain. Felt like a bad axle or bad differential. Took out the original transmission because it ended up being the differential. So it's got a spare transmission in it at the moment. Had to do some wheel bearings, brakes, and had to upgrade the cage and everything to make sure that it was a little more safe. I had to change the seat brackets and put a new seat in there because I'm quite a bit larger than the average Japanese person. So now I can fit in it and actually drive it safely. Eventually I might repaint it or do something different with the livery, but I love the way it looks now. So last year I took it to Gingerman and with Jerry. It was on tires. I think they were like 14-year-old 80-48s, old tires. I had no clue how the car was going to drive, but it's not very streetable. So that was really kind of my only opportunity to actually get some seat time in it. The car really surprised me. It was really fast, had lots of grip. The guys that built it really set it up well, and so hopefully I don't destroy that by touching it and changing things. So I'm going to try and keep it as original to where it's at as I can.
How did this setup that's on it now do yesterday?
It did good. We didn't have a lot of time, so that was kind of the biggest issue. Is we'd go out there, we'd have a warm-up lap. We'd only get about 4 or 5 laps of actually running. That being said, it did have quite a bit of grip. I did notice that track is a lot bumpier than I remember it. It's been a couple years since I've been on there. Overall, it was a lot of fun. And the thing has a lot of power. I haven't ripped apart the engine yet to figure out what the internals are, but the classification it was built for, it needs to have stock exhaust manifold, stock airbox, but a lot of the internals are kind of open. So it could have ported heads, it could have high compression pistons. I don't really know. I've been in contact with the shop owner that's been taking care of it for the past 20 years, and there's a lot of translation issues, so I don't really know a whole lot of what's going on with it. So this car, I needed to upgrade it to get it to track days. Last year when I went to the Grid Life event, it was still running the original harness that expired back in 2003. And like I said, I didn't have a seat for it, so I had one of my Brid seats that's reclinable. After that event, that was kind of what the focus is on, is getting a seat and making sure that I can track it. I don't have any plans. I added one bar for the harnesses. I don't plan on adding any more because I would have to, or need to add more to actually run an actual series, which I kind of don't want to. The sister car to this, the one that is here in the US, was already updated. And so I wanted to keep this one a little more original to the way the chassis was set up in the 90s, but still be able to drive it. Yeah, track days, I might be able to do some time attack with it, but mostly just kind of track days. That's pretty much the goal, is keep it like that, get it mechanically sound to be able to do that. And I think eventually I might change the livery to its original, which a lot of people would recognize, but I really like the way it looks now, so I'm just gonna keep it like this for a while. And I can't get rid of these stickers. The stickers are fun. Well, these like old events, because this one's from Fuji. There's one on the corner from Suzuka, and that's cool stuff. I nerd out about that. How terrible was that?
That's good. That was perfect.
So this car's pretty new to me. I've had it for 2 years, but haven't really done much with it. Just been really busy with life. The whole goal with this car was I wanted a golden era Honda, and I came from an 8th gen Civic Si going to this, which some might say that's a weird move considering the 8th gen's already got a K series in it.
That's weird. That's weird.
But there were some things I didn't like about that chassis. And then once I get in my own head, then that's kind of how things go. So I ended up picking this up locally. It's a rust-free, fairly clean. It's got some paint fade on it, but it's a good start. It was bone stock, manual car. Right now, what's done to it is coilovers, just some cheap coilovers, 24 millimeter rear sway bar, subframe brace. Probably the biggest thing on this car is the front brakes. I did the ITR Mini brake swap on it. So it's got ITR calipers, ITR master cylinder, and then it runs Mini Cooper 280 millimeter rotors. Wheel setup is 15x8 949 racing wheels with 225 45 15 Accelera 651 sports all around. I guess going into what makes it fast is nothing at all. It's completely stock engine. I don't even have an intake. It's got a catback on it, but the old mid-pipe was rusted through, so it kind of needed the exhaust. Future plans for it, I actually do have a donor RSX Type S, so it's gonna get a K20A2 swap, hopefully next year, but we know how that goes. It'll be a good, fun track car, low cost, easy, low maintenance, K-series swapped EK chassis Civic. So Saturday was its first time to the track, and all last week was prepping this car for the track. So I had a whole checklist. I had to put the seat harness in, had to put the exhaust on, had to put all the brakes on, change the fluids. For its first time out on track, I think it did well. I mean, I haven't even aligned the car or anything. So just an eyeball alignment on it, and I think it drove pretty well. Really, the only thing that gave me issues was the shifter. It's fully adjustable shifter, and the bolts kept coming loose on that. So we just threw some Loctite on them, and it held up for the sessions that it was in. But overall, I think the car did great. felt good, just going out and having fun.